NASCAR Xfinity Series race officially concluded from the Chicago Street Course, and Shane Van Gisbergen dominates the majority of the event, but comes back and puts on a great battle with Connor Zilch and picks up his first Xfinity Series win of 2025. What's going on, guys? It's Daniel, and welcome back to our video. I just got done watching NASCAR Xfinity Series race from Chicago Street Course to Loop 110. We had quite a bit to talk about from his race. Let's go talk about it. So let's begin by talking about the driver who picked up the win, Shane Van Gisbergen. Now, Shane Van Gisbergen coming into this weekend, he of course had won the pole, and he had the fastest car in qualifying especially, and he would dominate the early portion of this race. Despite the fact he was having engine and carburetor problems. They had they were having some sort of engine issues and some sort of engine problems. Seems like the engine was stumbling a little bit for Shane Van Gisbergen, but despite that fact, Shane Van Gisbergen started pulling away a little bit as the tires started aging a little bit. One thing Shane Van Gisbergen is really good at is saving his tires and managing them throughout the whole entire run. He would dominate the early portion of this event, would lead every single lap in the early portion, and would come off the final corner in dominating run and win stage number one. There would be a couple cautions early in the race. First for Jack Perkins, who unfortunately ended up getting turned by Sammy Smith going into the, I believe, turn 5 or turn number 6, going down East Balboa, I'm pretty sure. I don't know what Sammy Smith was doing there. Way too aggressive. Took Jack Perkins out, who was having a really good run early in the day, but nothing to show for it. But like I said, Shane Van Gisbergen would dominate. No one really come down the road on the main strategy. He would come off the corner and win stage number 1. Then stage number 2 began in this race with Shane Van Gisbergen having the race lead once again. I believe over someone like a Sheldon Creed, if I'm not mistaken. He actually, most leaders would then come down pit road at that time. So Shane was a little bit on the back burner on the restart. But he got a great restart in Gisbergen and was able to clear for the race lead as Jesse Love moved up to second. But then Shane started pulling away from the rest of the field and pulled out to near 7 or 8 second lead, and by the time we got to halfway. But everything changed on lap 24. Matt DiBenedetto unfortunately hit the outside wall, hit the tire barrier, and unfortunately part of the tire carcass came on the racetrack for Matt DiBenedetto. He got, unfortunately, a ton of damage on the car. His chance to go for the win would be over. The caution would come out for the tire carcass. This would mean and Shane Van Gisbergen will be starting a little bit farther back in the field, as majority of the cars would say have already come down pit road, while SVG, Preston Pardus, Christian Dackett, Taylor Gray, Nick Sanchez, Daniel Dye, all the guys who had not pit at the time, they would go ahead and come down pit road. So then Shane Van Gisbergen would restarting around 19th or 18th position, while Jesse Love would have the lead of this race. And Love would start pulling away, and him and Sheldon Creed would start putting on an incredible show and battle near the end of stage number 2. Meanwhile, Shane Van Gisbergen was charging his way up to the front, and here was actually an extended caution. He was charging his way back up to the front, and he would get up to around 13th or 14th position by the end of stage number 1, 2. While coming off the corner, Sheldon Creed would come off there and win stage number 2, followed by Jesse Love, Austin Hill, Connor Zilch, and Sammy Smith, who would be a factor later in this race. During the caution, Jeb Burton, Brandon Jones, Carson Quaffle, Andres Castro would all come down pit road. And then on the restart, we would see Shane actually move up inside the top 15. On the restart, Sheldon Creed got a really good restart and was able to clear for the race lead. There would be some contact between Thomas and Nunziata, who got spun by someone, I believe, going into the corner. I think it was Josh Williams, I'm pretty sure. This would force Nunziata up into the wall. Taylor Gray would run into the back of him. Andres Castro, for some reason, would be a factor later in this event. He would get in the back of Taylor Gray, get a ton of damage. This would bring out the caution. Shane would then move from 11th up to 7th position. And then on the next restart, Sheldon Creed got the lead on the inside with Austin Hill on the outside. And then Connor Zilch made a big move going into turn number 3 or 4, made the move to the outside, and was able to take the lead from Sheldon Creed and Austin Hill and started driving off. Meanwhile, by lap 40 of this event, Connor Zilch had a pretty big lead over Sheldon Creed. But then eventually in lap number 42, Shane got a really big run on Sheldon Creed and moved up to 2nd position. And he was starting to run down the race leader, Connor Zilch. There was one lap with around 6 or 7 laps to go, where Shane was 0.8 of a second faster than Connor. He had fresher tires than him in front of him, and he got a really good run to get by Connor, but he didn't get the chance to get by him at that point. But a caution would come out with 6 laps to go when Andre Castro spun in the turn 6 tire barrier after having a struggling day as it is. He spun in the tire barrier that would bring out the caution with 6 laps to go. And we would see a long caution because of this, unfortunately. So on the final restart, you had Connor Zilch and Shane Van Gisbergen on the front row, the two best road course racers in the NASCAR Xfinity Series. When they run against each other, they battle side by side going into there. Connor would come down the racetrack a little bit. There'd be contact. Shane would get put on the wall a little bit. Then going into corner, Shane had a big run to the inside and moved Connor Zilch up into the outside wall with a little bit of contact. Hard but fair if you ask me, and Shane was able to get the race lead. Connor Zilch would try everything he could to get to him at the end of the day. day, but he would run out of time as Connor was gaining on the last couple laps in a really fun and incredible finish, but it would not be enough. And coming out the final corner, Shane Gisbergen leads more than half of this race and picks up his first Xfinity Series win of 2025 and his fourth career NASCAR Xfinity Series win. Going back to the finish of this race, there's going to be a lot of conversation discussing the finish between Shane Van Gisbergen and Connor Zilch. I got to say, listen, the interview by Connor, he handled the interview very maturely. I said this for a while, but Connor Zilch is one of the most mature young drivers we have ever seen. I know he's upset about what happened there, but the way he handled that situation, there's a reason why I'm really high on Connor Zilch, because one, the kid is really talented and really, really good. He had a fast car today, one of the best cars in the field. And I think that he handled this very maturely and very professionally. Now, getting to the finish itself between SVG and Connor, I think a lot of people are going to look at this and say, this is a really, really dirty move. He shouldn't have forced him up in the outside wall. To me, I would consider this more of hard racing than being over-aggressive. Was it really aggressive? 100% absolutely. But unlike other finishes where people have done way over-aggressive things, it's not like Shane wrecked Connor Zilch to pick up the win. Yes, he put him in the outside wall a little bit, but Connor still had a chance and opportunity to get him. Now, granted, Shane could have waited a little bit and made the move and been a little more clean at that point, but Shane is trying to do what he can to go pick up the win. So to me, I don't think that was the most over-aggressive move from Shane. It wasn't the worst move I've ever seen, especially from drivers in the series. I know a lot of people are upset about the move, but to me, I don't think it was the worst move I've ever seen. I'm not mad about it. I think that's hard racing for the win. Also, Connor Zilch is a really popular driver. I'm a big fan of Connor, by the way. So I think that is just a fair move if you ask me. And nonetheless, both put on a really, really good show. Congratulations to Shane on picking up a dominating win. He'll try to go into the race tomorrow and sweep the weekend as he dominated the weekend so far. He'll look to get it done tomorrow afternoon in the Cup race. So now we're going to go ahead and take a look at the race results, get my score and thoughts on today's race. Shane Van Gisbergen picks up the win. Connor Zilch finishes second. Connor continues to have a dominant run over the last 6 weeks. He's been the best guy in the last 6-week stretch. Really, really good. 6 straight finishes of fit for better. I think he's going to win more races. He's going to win more road course races, though I think it's going to be tough to beat SVG at Sonoma when we get there. But great job for Connor Zilch today. Had a fast and really good car. The Red Bull cars finished 1-2. Great run for Connor. He finished second. Sheldon Creed finished third. I think Sheldon was the best of the rest. He put together one of his best performances he's put together in quite some time. He's had a lot of bad weeks as of late, so good to see that 00 car show some really great pace and really good speed. Great run for Sheldon. He finished third. Austin Hill finished fourth. Ran top 5 all day. Got a lot of points as well. Showed some very impressive speed out there. Gets a great finish today. He finished fourth. Nick Sanchez finished fifth. He had a speeding penalty at one point in this race, charged his way up to the front and gets a top 5 finish. After winning Atlanta last week, there's a lot of confidence with this 48 team. They're starting to click. They're starting to build a lot of momentum. Great run for Nick. He finishes in fifth. Jesse Love finished 6th, led some laps in this event, got some points as well, did a good job in the points situation, scores another top 10. Great run from Jesse Love to score another top 10. He finished 6th. Sammy Sipp finished 7th. Yes, he had that incident with Jack Perkins, but Sammy had a good car, all things considered, ran top 5, top 10 all day, showed some good speed. He finished 7th. Sam Mayer finished 8th, showed some really good speed early in the race, but faded back a little bit as the day progressed and went on, but he does come on with a solid top 10 and 8th. Good run for Sam Mayer. Austin Green finished 9th. Want to give him a shout out for a second. Austin Green put together a really, really good performance. I said he was going to be a factor for a top 10. He's been one of the most consistent guys at road courses. Did a really, really good job today. Great, impressive run. I hope this guy is full-time next year because he's really, really good. Great run for him. He finishes in 9th. And Brennan Poole gets a top 10 in 10th place. How about that for Brennan? I don't know what that means on the number of top 10s he's had, but this is one of his best finishes of the year. And at a road course nonetheless. Great run for Brennan Poole today. He finished in 10th. Josh Williams finished 11th. Not a bad day for him. Showed some pretty good speed. Gets a solid top 15 finish. Pretty good run for him. Alex Abay finishes 12th. Pretty good run for Alex Abay in that car. Harrison Byrne finished 13th. Ran top 15 majority of the day. Did a lot better Haley Deegan's done in that car. Showed really good speed in the race today. He finished 13th. Solid run for the driver of the AM Racing Machine. Dean Thompson finished 14th despite struggling early. He got up there and got a top 15. Christian Eckes finished 15th considering how bad his weekend was coming in the race. I think he'll take a top 15. Not a bad run for him. Carson Qualp finished 16th. Struggled a little bit this weekend, which is surprising considering he's been good at the other 2 road courses this year. A little surprised with the lack of speed. He was the worst of the junior motorsports cars today. Tough break for him. He finished 16th. Thomas Sanusi had to finish 17th. He got caught up in a couple incidents and still recovered to finish inside the top 20. Good run for Thomas. Showed some good speed today. Blaine Perkins finished 18th. Daniel Dye finished 19th. And Kyle Seek finished 20th. Brandon Jones, who struggled early in this race, he finished 21st. Kaz Grall finished 22nd. Not a bad run for him. Justin Allgaier finished 23rd. Unfortunately for Allgaier, he had some braking issues on the car. I think he went a lap down, unfortunately. He had a good car, ran top 10, but the brakes were starting to go out, and he was having some sort of engine trouble as well. Because of that, he finished 23rd. Parker Retzlaff finished 24th. Not a bad day for him. Ryan Ellis finished 25th. Connor Mosack, who I thought would be more of a factor, been in the tire barriers early because that finished 26th. Jeb Byrne finished 27th. Matt DiBenedetto finished 28th. Preston Pardus, who showed really good speed early in the event, he finished 29th. Brad Price finished 30th. Jeremy Clements finished 31st. Jack Perkins, who I thought would have been a factor, and he had really, really good speed in this race early, but nothing to show for after getting banged in the outside wall. He finished 32nd. Andre Castro finished 33rd. Taylor Gray fell out of the race. He finished 34th. Josh Bligge, whose car caught on fire, finished 35th. Anthony Fritta finished in 36th. William Sawalter didn't even make 10 laps of this event. Tough break for William, who had a good qualifying run, was running inside the top 10. Nothing to show for it after he fell out of the race. He just had a terrible season so far, and the bad season continues. And Ryan Siega didn't make it far in the race either. He finished last in 38th after crashing into the outside wall. So now, let's talk about the overall race as a whole. I'll give my score and thoughts on today's race. I will say the racing throughout the field today I thought was actually really good. Sure, Shane Van Gisbergen dominated this racing. He had a really, really good car, but there was good racing and good battles throughout the field. But I do want to say the cautions today were really, really long. I think in a 50-lap race, we had about 15 to 20 laps of caution. That's nearly half of the race run under yellow. I get that we've had sage cautions now for a long time, but can we please, for the love of God, get rid of sage cautions at road courses? I've been against that for a very long time since the beginning of this. I just think sage caution should go away altogether. Nonetheless, we had a pretty good and exciting finish to cap this off, and it was a very intriguing battle. I think that caution really ruined what was going to be an unbelievable battle between Zilich and SVG, but I think today's race was solid, wasn't spectacular. My score today is probably going to be about a 7 point, probably about 8 out of 10 in all honesty. I think it was one of the better Xfinity races of the year so far despite all the yellows, but I think that there could have been some better stuff to it. It was a pretty good race. My score is going to be 8 out of 10. So, that is going to be it for the NASCAR Xfinity Series race review from Chicago. I want to thank you guys for watching. Please subscribe to the channel, notifications on, so if I win a video, it does go live on my channel. Follow me Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, and support me on Patreon as well. Let's go below that and comment your thoughts below on today's race. What are your thoughts on today's race? Let me know below. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And congratulate Shane Van Gisbergen on picking up the win. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Tomorrow on the channel, we're going to have the starting lineup video for the Grand Park 165 at Chicago. We're also going to have the Cup race review as well. Monday, we're going to have multiple NASCAR news videos dropping. We'll talk a little bit about some of the Dodge rumors and GMS and all that kind of stuff. Maybe Daniel Suarez of Junior Motorsports and his thoughts on getting kicked from trackouts, basically. We'll talk about that. We'll also talk about future street course racing and maybe staying in Chicago next year. And we'll also talk about people like Haley Leading, Carl Edwards, Kurt Busch, Shane Van Gisbergen, Connor Zilich, Junior Motorsports, Red Bull, Sam Mayer, Sheldon Creed, Eric Almirola, Chase Elliott, Kyle Busch, Kyle Larson, Brad Keselowski, Ryan Preece, Cletus Afaro and Dodge Ram, all the good stuff like Carson Crawford will talk about that on the channel in the coming days and weeks. So anyways, like I said, I want to thank you guys for watching today's episode, and I'll see you guys next time for more great, awesome NASCAR content and other motorsports content on the channel like this. Take care, everybody.